Is there an exodus from Spain? The reality is the answer's partially true. I would say it's more likely people are moving in from the rural areas and heading to the big cities in the same way they're going overseas, because there's a lot more job opportunities, say, for a Spanish nurse or doctor to work in the UK than there is in Spain. The local private hospital here has just downsized its staff, partly to do with a merger with another group, but then again, that's privatisation. They're all about money, they're not about service. There is about, I think the reduction for this year is something like there's 126,000 less people. That's a mix of Spanish, British and every other in Spain. Work is not easy to find in many locations, but the people I know that have headed into Madrid, Barcelona, Benidorm have all found work. But at the same time, you've got to remember the average wage here is about €750 a month. So if you were a doctor, the reality is your salary would be much bigger in the UK. If you were an engineer, your salary would be bigger in the UK. If you were a construction labourer, your salary would be bigger in the UK. So you've got to understand that a lot of this is not just a case of needing to leave, but the fact is there's a lot more opportunities in the UK and some other locations. I'm not sure if people are heading up to Germany or not, because I'm sure there's still plenty of jobs around in Germany as well. The reality is with the UK, it's got a lot of people that are unskilled. So if you've got people with skills that are recognised because they're within the EU, then why not? Why not go and work in the UK from Spain? It's got a lot of benefits to you. A lot of expats are going home as well. A lot of the work here hasn't dried up, it's just stagnant. I would say some people have decided to go home for ill health reasons. I would say that some of them have been avoiding the system here for long periods of time and now heading home. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't get discussed in the media. For example, in international media, local media, there's been people utilising the European health card for their healthcare in Spain, but at the same time, they're not Spanish resident and they're not tourists. They sit in the middle. So in theory, they should be making contributions to the Spanish system because they're no longer a tourist, because they are living in Spain, even if they have not gained residency. I will also say that the process and documentation in Spain is getting harder to process. Is this an anti-Syrian thing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's down to the fact that Spain doesn't know where half the people are in the first place. There's a lot of property rentals they want to chase tax on. There's a lot of people that work here that don't pay any tax. There's a lot that just declare some tax. There's a lot of reasons that they want to make it harder to get into the country. And at the same time, while they can do it, they'll be matching up all your little incomes. For example, Spain likes to tax your global income, but they have no right to do it, and I believe it's been challenged. I'm not sure where that sits currently, but if I'm making money in the Philippines, I don't think it's any business of Spain's. But at the same time, if I'm working in the UK and resident of Spain, should I be paying tax in Spain or should I be paying it in the UK because I live in Spain? This is where things start to get complicated, because obviously money-wise, Spain would love to grab that money if it could. This is why the documentation is a bit of a pig to become a resident. At the same time, I can see why they do it, but at the same time, a lot of this is putting people off. I would also say, from a long-term view, Spain is now stagnant. People are saying, "Oh, it's on the up, it's stagnant." Very little has changed. The bottom dropped out of the construction industry and it's nowhere near what it was. I would also say there's excess properties, because if you've got a downturn in the number of people coming to Spain, then you have property everywhere for sale. There is not enough people to fill them. From a person that makes money offshore or can contract in the UK, this suits me. Why? Rents are not going to go up. Rents have no demand. The only demand are the tourism rents, and beyond that, there is no push to push your rent up. In the UK, my rent would be 3 times the amount I'm paying here in Spain, which means I can fly into the UK to work if I wanted to, or continue processing things here in Spain as we are. I'd also say, living in this location, we have the beach, we have the good food, etc. I love Spain. I don't have the same in the UK. We live in Worcestershire when we're in the UK, and it's declined over the last 20 years. It's not a place that I strongly have any connection with beyond my daughter, my parents and brothers and sister. Beyond that, there's nothing. It's just not what it was. Here, it's better organised. Although we do suffer with graffiti, we don't seem to suffer with as much in the sense of littering, drug abuse, etc. in this area. We have a strong police presence. We have a school that is very, very good and has teachers that want to be part of your child's education. There's a lot more going on that is positive than I would believe I would get in the UK. So I can't, from my point of view, the exodus, there's a lot of people going, but from my view, it's worth staying. I would also say the tourism is still there. That Alicante airport is up by 25% this month on tourism. So the reality is the tourists are still coming, and a lot of this survives on tourism. If you need to make money locally, you will struggle. But beyond that, there's very little downsides. The negative for me is the internet. But I'm hoping at some point we get the 300 megabyte fiber optic that is available nearby, just not here. Alright, thanks for watching.